second voice is like, what advice would I give me? And the advice I'd give me is like, you're wasting your time arguing in the shower with someone who doesn't even, they don't even know you're arguing with them.
I know, it's true.
You're not even there. You're like replaying it out in your head so you could have had a better thing to say to them.
They say they're living rent-free in your head.
Yes, that's what it is. Yeah,
then,
I don't allow anybody in my head.
No, I have a second thought. I do, and I'm not religious by any means, but I'll say, you know, God get me off to the head. You know, what should I do? What's my purpose? Or what can I do in life? You know, look, my main purpose in life, besides being, my main purpose is staying sober. Because if I don't, I'm dead easily, and everything I throw away. Then my family, obviously, you know, and my career, you know, all the shit I put about Israel, this and that. That's my life is calm. But I think in life, if you're not part of the, like I say, solution, part of the problem with what's going on in this world, mainly in this country, the anti-Semitism in this country.
The anti-Semitism in this country is weird because it popped up like it was hiding. You know, after October 7th, it popped up.
Shouldn't have a platform tonight because they're nuts. They're nuts. Like if you had somebody in the audience that's nuts, you're gonna take them out. You're gonna get rid of them.
Right, but that's the difference between an audience and the internet is you don't have to engage with the nuts.
Okay, but there's people that are following these nuts. Okay, you take whatever's going on in the Middle East, whatever side you're on, Israel, Palestine, whatever. Why are college campuses letting this happen on campus where Jews can't go to class, where they're being harassed, where they feel threatened?
Well, a lot of that stuff is funded.
Yeah, it's funded like the TAR or whatever.
Or whatever. Whoever's doing it, there's most certainly there's funding and organization involved. These aren't organic projects. That's just pop up.
No, of course.
Everybody wants to think they are because some people join organically, they hop in, but it's not.
No,
these are all being organized.
Of course.
Including the anti-Elon protests, including, like, you know, the end to oligarchy rallies that they have with AOC and Bernie Sanders. All this shit is it's all getting funded and astroturfed, and they're bussing people in. They're manufacturing a movement.
Of course. And, I mean, listen, they didn't all go out and buy the same tents. Right. You know, and there's, I don't know how many that are getting funded, and then they bring in, you know, it's just like
the tents are crazy. We're going to camp out for Palestine.
Okay? Yeah, it's just like, you know, I don't want to get into the 80s and foreclosures on farms, you know. When banks were foreclosing on farms, Jews were look, the Jews are foreclosing on our farm, the Jewish bankers, and they weren't even the bankers doing it. It was the WASP bankers. Jews barely worked at Chase Manhattan in the early 80s or 70s. So
but they blame the Jews.
They blame because it's easy to go after, you know, and so throughout the Midwest or the South, it's easier to build up hatred or a group to go after a smaller group of, hey, these people are closing on your farms. These are the people that are doing it. And these people don't have the knowledge, and the hate just grows and grows from generation to generation. Right. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, you know, same with, you know, I got shit I printed out. This, you know, I'll show it later, maybe. I don't know. I mean, listen, I'm a comic, but I really, you see what I post sometimes. I post some shit. And it's not, I'm not anti,
you're pro.
I'm just pro,
you're pro-Jew.
I'm pro-Jew in this country. And I'm not religious by any stretch. I don't fucking, I think it's a holiday now. It's Passover or something. I don't fucking know. I'm not religious. My cousins were, my family wasn't.
You think about it as a people?
I think about it as, yes, as a people. You know, if what was happening in this world to black people or gay people, these colleges would put an end to it. It would stop. All right? If people were ripping down posters of hostages, of black hostages or gay hostages, when that was happening,
That was crazy where people were upset that people wanted people to bring the hostages home. Like these hostages, some of them were aid workers.
Yeah.
Some of them were people that like lived there so they could help people in Gaza. The whole thing is so crazy. But I wonder like how did they get turned that way? Or were they like what I said, like they were in hiding? There was like see, as a person who's not a Jew, I would hear about all the anti-Semitism. Like, yeah, there's always going to be some, and maybe everyone's exaggerating. But then when this after October 7th, it was just like, oh, Jesus, fucking everywhere.
What's your background? Irish?
Italian. Yeah, mostly.
One quarter Irish. Okay. If every surrounding country,
right,
is Italian.
Oh, I get
Italy. You're gonna
go down Saudi Arabia at the end of it. You forget. Oh, it's Ethiopia's right there.
And then, Turkey hates Israel. Fucking Iran, they're being attacked by 4 or 5 different nations at once, and everybody's going, well, they're committing genocide. First of all, those numbers are coming from Hamas. Where do you think those numbers are coming from?
Okay, but the drone footage isn't coming from Hamas. The drone footage is real. Like if you cover like Gaza with a drone, there's nothing left. It's pretty nuts.
Well, I bet you if they released the hostages October 10th, none of this shit would have happened.
That's true.
None of this shit would have happened. During the Clinton administration, Arafat was in the White House probably 6 or 7 times. The head of the CIA during the Clinton administration visited the White House twice. Arafat 6 or 7 times. And they offered a 2-state solution. That would have been Clinton's legacy to have peace and a 2-state. But Arafat kept turning it down because Arafat's a terrorist. And if he does that, what purpose does he serve? What purpose? Is
it that simple?
Well, to me it is because I'm not the smartest. But
that's part of the problem.
Well,
part of the problem in Israel and Palestine, and I've sat down and thought about this conflict. Not that I'm an expert either, but it's almost insurmountable. And then now after October 7th, with all the bombings, when they level Gaza, it's like, how do you fix this? It's like you've created whatever the numbers are.
Yeah.
Whether it's 70,000 people or 20,000 people that have been killed that are innocents, you've created so many more potential terrorists.
Yeah.
Because so many of the children of those people, and the brothers and sisters and the relatives of those people. So it's like reinforced this desire to fight against Israel.
But
and you can squash that. You can just keep pounding them down until there's nothing left, which is what it seems that they're doing.
But
I understand it from a tactical perspective, I guess.
Do we have that animosity and hatred from Japan towards us, where we dropped, killed 350,000 people?
Well, they did for a while.
Yeah, but
they certainly did for a long while.
Yeah, but
I have friends who go to Japan in the 70s and they can feel the hatred.
Yeah, but now it's 55.
Yeah, they're not like that at all now.
Yeah, okay.
But it's a totally, completely different generation. So you think future generations will think about Israel the same way we think about Japan? Or Japan thinks about us?
No, because future generations in the Middle East, this has been going since day one, since the 6-Day War, since the Yom Kippur War, since day one they've been being attacked. So there's never
well, it's also before Israel was founded. You got to go back.
Yes.
There's a
But here's another thing too. And I'm not listening. I'm not going to be that guy. Oh, I had a Muslim friend. Listen.
Jews have been a history in the land of Israel, the presence dating back to the second millennium BCE. Okay, settling in the area around 1250 BCE. So that predates Jesus by 1250 years. It's funny they call it before current era. Like current era is not 2,000 years ago. Just say before Jesus, you motherfuckers.
That's what I said.
Second millennium BCE, the Israelites, considered to be the ancestors of the Jewish people, emerged as an outgrowth of the southern Canaanites. Israelites entered Canaan in 1250 BCE, settling the hill country in the south. 10th century BCE, two Israelite kingdoms, northern kingdom of Israel and the southern kingdom of Judea emerged, of Judah rather, emerged. The kingdom of Israel was conquered by the Neo-Assyrian Empire in 722 BCE, and in 586 BCE, the kingdom of Judah was conquered by the Neo-Babylonian Empire. 538 BC, the Persian Cyrus the Great ended the Babylonian exile, and the Jews returned to their homeland. So they've been there since 538 BCE. Started in 1250 BC, so they were there before anybody. Yeah, the Romans destroyed the Second Temple of Jerusalem in 70 current era, leading to the Jewish diaspora. We were backing the rebels. We essentially backed ISIS. We essentially backed ISIS, which is crazy. We backed Al Qaeda, which is just nuts. We backed Al Qaeda, which is just nuts.
But he was more dangerous in Syria.
According to Israel,
because Israel weakened Iran's military after they were attacked by Iran, who was supplying Assad with weapons.
It was really fucked. Before Iran became a religious state, women were like wearing miniskirts. They were hot. It was like there was freedom everywhere. People were like chilling. It seemed almost like Europe.
Probably like a resort vacation. Like they were beautiful.
Oh, they were gorgeous women. The Iranian and Persian women are incredible chins. It's like you look at those photos from see if you can find some photos of Iran like early 1970s. I was seeing some things on it this morning actually on the way over here, or before I left my house. I was seeing this. It's so hard to imagine that a place that had a democratically elected leader, it was kind of almost European, and then now it's just a full religious state, and anybody who protests against the government gets assassinated. Like they assassinated an Olympic gold medalist wrestler because he was perceived to be protesting. I don't even know if he actually protested. It was like some things that you post online. Like if women take off their headscarves, they can get killed.
But why?
It's crazy that a country can fall like that.
I don't get where gays or women or whatever are backing. They're basically backing Hamas.
Yeah.
I don't get.
They're retarded. I don't get it because they just do the new thing. What's the new thing? Is it climate change? Why am I yelling? Climate change? Okay, climate change. Black Lives Matter? Okay, Black Lives Matter. That's all it is. There's a lot of people out there that are just retarded, and those are the people that you see get bussed into these rallies, and there's just a lot of dopes that you can get to agree with almost anything. And there's gay people for Hamas, believe it or not. Trans people for Hamas.
Fuck them.
I know.
Blacks for the.
It's too dangerous. Yes. It's a public safety issue. It's too hard to identify criminals. It's too hard to identify someone who commits a crime.
During the Vietnam protests, there was never a mask. Those people were proud to protest against the Vietnam War.
But there also wasn't facial recognition software and cameras in the sky. It's like, there's a lot of considerations.
That's true. But now they're hiding and they're committing, to me, some crimes on campus. I think.
Well, they're certainly doing a lot of things they shouldn't be allowed to do, like disrupting classes and screaming at professors. And it's organized.
Yeah, it's organized, and people join in because they just join. They want to be, like I said, and there's a lot of people as well. There's leaders and there's followers.
But there's
a lot of followers.
More followers.
Yes, they're leaders in the world. Yeah. So I will get off of this because I know I just want to.
You're not back?
No, I have other things. I have other good points in there. Okay.
It is a good point though, but it's like when you have people that are bitter enemies like this, like these kind of conflicts take thousands of years to work through. And in the case of Israel, it is thousands of years old.
Look, how are they gonna 22, 23 Arab countries in the UN and in Israel. So everything's going to be voted against
Yeah.
Israel. 22, 23 fucking Arab. Uh, like I said, this I I can't resolve or whatever. Is it unfair? Is it whatever? Uh, my concern is what's going on in this country. That's my main concern. My daughter's going to college. I don't want her to go to a college where she feels scared to go to class,
Right.
where she feels threatened just to be who she is.
Tell her to go to college in Texas.
Yeah, I know. That's what I want her to go to some,
They have
Southern,
concealed carry on college campuses here.
it's so.
Yeah, this is a different place.
It's a different time.
This is what America is supposed to be in a lot of ways. It's supposed to be a lot more free, less laws. So, but there's a lot of laws here that become crazy. The abortion thing, the 6-week thing. It's crazy. Most women don't even know they're pregnant that quickly.
I think if a lady, a woman, okay. I told you I walked out in 11th grade. If a lady, I think, does all her chores, I think once a week she should be able to wear slacks. Abortion to me, it's not really I think a man, and maybe I could be wrong, if you're married or you live with your spouse, the male might have, what, 20, 25% of the decision, maybe 30. But some single guy probably never had a girlfriend, never lived with a girl. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up. And you just want to be part of something.
Well, people love controlling people, though. Yes. They really do. Which is why, those climate protests drove me fucking crazy, where they would protest for climate change by blocking the highway. Those fucking idiots.
Yeah.
All they want to do is control people. That's what they want to do. You're not changing roads.
No, not at all.
Holding a flag in the middle of the highway. You're just pissing people off, but you're controlling people by stopping traffic, and that's what people like to do. They like to control people.
And they don't know if somebody's given birth or somebody has to get to the hospital or for anything.
100%.
It's all self-centered. Fucking, I'm more important than you.
Yes.
Don't paint on somebody with a fur. They should turn around and fucking beat the daylights out of them. Or these fucking climate people walking into the Wright Museum or the Van Gogh and don't paint on a fucking
on gluing yourself to the wall.
Yeah, what's
crazy?
Then again,
you see what they did at the Porsche dealership? They glued themselves to the floor in the Porsche dealership. They just shut the lights off and left them in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, fuck you. They came back the next day. They glued their hands to the floor as if they're going to stop everything, and they were like, okay, we'll just shut the doors. Shut the doors, leave them there to shit themselves.
Good. Porsches are nice cars. Why would they attack Porsche?
They're only doing it because they know it'll get attention. That's all it is. It's usually a bunch of very privileged, rich kids, white kids, that come from a family that has a lot of wealth and to rebel against their parents or probably fucking investment bankers or something. They decide they're going to fight climate change, man. They don't even understand what they're fighting. They don't understand the science. They don't. It's complex. It's multi-layered and nuanced, and there's a lot of propaganda that's attached to what they call the green agenda. Because the green agenda, like all things that are big and public, is profitable. They have a bunch of companies that, if they can get these laws pushed forward, they can have industries that emerge, and their industry can benefit from all these laws, and so they'll fund protests. They'll get people to do things, but it's all 4D chess. There's all these multiple layers of things happening, and then there's the
Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan podcast by night, all day.
Hey, good to see you, my friend.
Wow, that was fast. Good to see you too,
That's
brother.
You got notes, dude. You're organized. You're a rare guest.
I actually, I normally don't bring notes, but I was talking to Callie Leeds on the way over here, and we're really supporting Bobby Kennedy's whole Baja, movement, and trying to officially put a committee together to really give him some great talking points and bring some of the big influencers together to help him message, around the media. And I was like, what are some of the wins that we've had in the last week that I don't know about? And so he just rattled them off. And
There's some wins.
jotted them down.
What are the wins?
Well, I mean, so Trump formed this Strong Kids Commission, and if you remember when he first got into office, he actually, by executive order, he authorized Bobby to do a study with the, Health and Human Services to look into the genesis of chronic disease, because nobody's talking about it. The National Institute of Health or National Library of Medicine or whatever, public health policy. Nobody's talking about what's causing this.
Yeah, I wonder why they're not talking about it.
Well, I can give you a couple of. I can give you a couple
Money
of
has
clues.
anything to do with it?
No way.
You're a
It's the
conspiracy theorist, dude. You're down the rabbit hole.
That's my problem.
You think that just because people get paid, they do things that are shady.
Yeah, I know. That's a weird thing to think. I should stop thinking that way.
Yeah, I mean, we make $110 billion a year on type 2 diabetes. They're trying to put that out of business.
Yeah, they don't want that money.
No. They're like, hey, Stan, how do we get this off the balance sheet, bro? How do we get rid of this? Is sneaking up.
So there's a business that relies on people being so disgusting that they get type 2 diabetes, so bad with their diet, just eating pie and drinking soda until their body just starts to cave in.
Yeah, but don't worry,
That's worth how much a year?
$110 billion.
That's
Type 2
not
diabetes.
That's not a lot of money. It's all, yeah, that would change anyways in Indian some things.
Well, I mean, a lot of people could live on that. There's a lot of people that could live on that.
Isn't that funny? A lot of people could live on what's killing other people.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? Like, a lot of people are buying yachts on what is killing people.
Yes,
It's wild.
The interesting thing is look at our food stamp program, which is the SNAP program, which is one of the biggest subsidies that we have in the government, $120 billion a year. $10 billion of that is going to subsidize sodas. I mean,
Well, they need soda. It's an important part of the food pyramid, I think.
It's right,
Isn't it in there?
it's right up there with Lucky Charms, right?
Yeah, Lucky Charms is right above ground beef.
Yeah, and grass-fed steak. And then you get to the top, and you got soda. So it's just it's phenomenal. And then the American Heart Association just ironically comes out in favor of soda in the SNAP program.
We went over that and we found out that they're paid by Pepsi and by Coca-Cola. Wow, it's just so dark.
Yeah,
it's so crazy.
It
the
is.
American Heart Association gets money from Coca-Cola and Pepsi.
Yeah, I checked into my Airbnb here in Austin, which by the way, love Austin. I see why you came here. We covered it all on my podcast, so I won't go down that rabbit hole. But it truly is, man. People are amazing. Food is amazing. Look at this little restaurant called My Food. But there's people. Yeah. And the owner's closet wasn't locked. And I went into the owner's closet. Of course, it's like all cheese crackers. And I pulled a couple of bottles of seed oils out. And I did a little post about it. It's like labels on this.
Right.
And we talked about seed oil. And I get attacked a lot for saying that these bottles. The plant, the distance from the plant,
It's the process it takes to turn, which is what canola is. And rapeseed was problematic. It changed the canola oil. I always thought it was corn oil. Corn's good for you. Corn oil must be great for you. Oh, using canola oil. Cool.
Peanuts.
Please explain, though, the process, because it's so vile.
It's insane. So, rapeseed can be compressed, and it will come out gummy. And it's called hexane. And hexane, if you go to the National Institute of Health or National Library of Medicine, is a known neurotoxin. Which is actually we'll also look at that later. But then you take this degummed oil and heat it, which turns it. I mean, there's no mechanism on Earth for temperatures to reach that much, especially at this kind of temperature. So now it denatures, it turns rancid. So now it's putrefied, it smells. So now you have to deodorize it. So we deodorize it with sodium hydroxide. So we degum it with a powerful neurotoxin. We heat it to 45 degrees to turn it rancid, and then we deodorize it with a very powerful carcinogen. And then in some cases, we bleach it in bottles. Grocery aisle, it's all these like lesson oils or vegetable oils, but they're all exactly the same color. LDL cholesterol. But it might work in California. I can see them passing that legislation. You know, we need less firemen. But so the theory that if we push down the firemen, which was called to the site of inflammation, meaning we reduce the cholesterol, which was called to the site of inflammation to cause the repair, rather than passively starting the fire, that notion is about to be, I think, blown out of the water by big data. I think you're going to see big data, artificial intelligence, and early detection. How the FDA decides whether or not you can micropoison the population. So we are allowed to micropoison the population, right? We're allowed to put certain amounts of pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, preservatives.
That is a great way of putting it, too.
Yeah.
So that's really what's happening.
It's exactly what's happening. And a lot of experts will say that dosage determines the poison. And that's largely untrue when you talk about cumulative dose toxicity, meaning if I give you this sandwich and this piece of tuna fish and it has a very small safe amount of lead or mercury, it's probably not going to hurt you, right? But if you don't methylate that metal out of your body and you keep eating that same kind of fish, I mean, nobody got mercury poisoning from a single piece of tuna fish. What they got mercury poisoning from was continuing to eat the same thing over and over and over and over again, and they got a cumulative dose toxicity, which is what a lot of foreign countries use. So in other words, I can't just say if I put 1 drum of arsenic in this glass, is that going to kill you? It may make you mildly sick, cause an inflammatory process. Maybe it's not going to kill you. But if you drink one of those 5 times a day, 7 days a week, now you're toxic, and that's what's happened to our country. We didn't get here quickly. We got here by slowly stacking these micropoisons.
Right, but is it possible to change all of, like, whatever we use seed oil for? Is it possible to swap that out for olive oil or beef tallow? Or
yes,
I know there's some companies doing, like Masa makes these great tortilla chips that are just organic corn, tallow.
Organic corn.
They taste like it too. Like you feel like you're eating food.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about those Vandry chips too.
Yeah, Vandy chips.
I love those.
I do too.
It's just potatoes and beef tallow with a little salt. And and it tastes like food.
Yeah.
Like when I eat them, I don't feel like a piece of shit. Like if I eat a bag of Doritos, I feel like a fucking loser.
Yeah.
You know, even while I'm eating, I'm like, oh, you loser, shut up, hamburgers, shut up, these are delicious.
You shame yourself. You're like, Joe, I'm so disappointed in you.
But isn't it possible to just replace those, or would it require? Is it one of those things like there's an issue with factory farming? Everybody thinks factory farming is disgusting when it comes to animals. Like it's vile what they do to chickens and pigs. But is it possible to give everyone cheeseburgers in food deserts without factory farming? Like have we gotten so far ahead of ourselves that we don't have sustainable regenerative agriculture as an option?
I don't think so at all.
So you think that all the foods, all the salad dressings and all the French fries and all the things that are cooked in food oil, we have enough beef tallow, we have enough olive oil, we have enough avocado oil that we could switch all those things out and everything would be great?
There is no question that we have the capacity to produce these, and we have the capacity to produce them now. I mean, a lot of these farms don't use the bones from these cattle, they don't use the hide from these cattle, they don't boil in the collagen from these cattle, and they certainly are not making the tallow from the fat from the cattle that are being slaughtered.
So there's a lot of tallow that's going to waste.
A lot of tallow, a lot of bone broth, a lot of bones, a lot of cartilage. That's entirely going to waste. And if you look at a lot of countries, they will use the entire animal. They'll boil down the bones. They'll use the hide. They'll use the bone marrow.
It's kind of crazy because there's a big market for bone broth. There's a big market for beef tallow. Like, why wouldn't they? I mean, they're just wasting money.
I think you have the perception that there's a big market for it because you're kind of in the know, right? You're probably in the I hate to use this term, but woke 1%. Oh, right? If you went into he called me woke.
It used to be cool.
When I mean woke 1%, I mean I hate that word.
Well, you're using it the correct way, though. You're using it the way African Americans used to use it. Black people used to go woke, like you're awake. I'm woke. You can't sneak that stupid shit by me.
Right.
I'm woke.
Right.
You know, and then the fucking white people took it over and ruined it. Like a lot of things.
Exactly. Did we fuck that up? Not us.
Not us. But the ones who
because I can really silence you if you start out like out intellectualizing me. I can just feel, dude, you're triggering me. You're hurting my feelings.
You're triggering me with information.
I kid you not. I've never talked about this before. I'm probably gonna lose half my audience, but
No.
I went to Harvard University for this thing, this longevity summit. A very good friend of mine. I won't mention his name because then I'll give away the event that I was at. I called my wife on day 2, and I was like, babe, I feel like I've landed on Mars. I go, I gotta get out of here. And she goes, what is going on? I said, I was listening to a panel of PhDs for 4 hours debate about whether or not a microaggression is something that could happen to you that you don't recognize that is causing a micro trauma. The other person didn't realize they were doing, but it was still creating an unsafe environment.
I think there should be mandatory jiu-jitsu classes for those people. Mandatory jiu-jitsu.
My head was so twisted.
Here's your micro trauma.
Yeah, when they passed the microphone to me, I got so much trouble. Okay, I won't say his last name, but Daniel. He's still mad at me right now because of this. They passed the microphone to me. But do you have anything to add to the conversation? I go, this sounds like a bunch of people. This whole panel of you guys sound like you boarded a spaceship and literally left Mother Earth. Because I have no idea what you're talking about. You are talking about trying to identify something that you, by its very nature, say you don't know if you have it or you don't. So let's just admit that it's a ghost. So how are we gonna? We can't measure it. We can't find it. We can't prove you have it. And we can't prove you don't have it. So how are we gonna treat it?
It's this culture of victimization and the monetization. It's like there's status in victimization. You know,
Yeah.
that's the thing. They've essentially made it like a virtue to be a victim. So you're looking for little things that have possibly. I believe it was a microaggression.
I think I felt it.
Possibly rolled his eyes. I mean, that is gonna haunt me. I need therapy now. I think he might have rolled his eyes.
And that's absolutely acceptable.
That is a microaggression, like maybe rolling your eye, like he'd be rolling your eye, like you say something to me, I go, okay. And then I leave. Oh my God, that was a microaggression. You say something to me, I go, okay. And then I leave. Oh my God, that was a microaggression.
Yeah,
like what I just did, go, okay. That's the microaggression.
Is you're kind of off the hook because if you didn't intentionally create the microaggression, I just perceived it as a just what you were just saying.
Hopefully, didn't
a lot of your purpose is to go out and get pills overnight, but she has a purpose.
Right. And she's a part of the community.
And she's
not locked up at home with a bunch of people who don't really care about her.
Yeah. You know, we knew something in mortality research, and we knew that if you wanted to cut somebody's life expectancy in half at any age, and I mean at any age, you put them in isolation. So as soon as you create isolation, you dramatically reduce, if not half, the life expectancy. Now, later in life, we would call this broken heart syndrome, caregiver syndrome, and these were actually very valid syndromes. So if we actually were doing the life expectancy on an elderly spouse who was still applying for insurance, or we were looking at what's called a sick or die claim on a life insurance policy, and one spouse had passed away, we would dramatically reduce the life expectancy of the second spouse. The reason why that's important is I think that people don't realize that we are actually being isolated by right? I mean, we are trying to create connection to our phones, we're trying to create connection to social media, but these are not human connections. In fact, you look at the rates of depression, suicide, suicidal ideation, obesity, chronic mental illness. I think we actually have chronic lack of mental fitness, not necessarily
just like, it doesn't feel better.
Yeah.
It just feels like more tuned in, your birds, your branches snapping.
Yeah.
God damn it.
We have this place in Colorado. My wife and I, she's been going to for 35 years since she was a little girl. When we got together 10 years ago, she started bringing me and my family out there. And her father's got 10 acres, her uncle's got 10 acres, and then there's 50 acres on the market. So we bought it and we're building these old school, like barns on them. And I write this all the time because in my fancy, I've got all this fancy, I've got like therapy beds, hyperbarics, hydrogen beds, all this stuff. But I'll go out to this Colorado home, put on a 20-pound rucksack. I know you do 150-pound rucksacks, so I feel like a complete
Most of the time I do 45.
Okay, that's
Sometimes
man's
I
weight.
do it, but then I carry 250-pound kettlebells.
Oh shit! No, I really.
Yeah.
I'm not even telling the rest.
These
of
are
the
just
story.
short bursts.
Category.
This is not like long distance. It's just I just do it to tax my system.
Well, I do farmer's carries with it too.
I do that too.
Yeah, farmer's carries.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I do farmer's carries like 60 yards better. You know,
Close
one
to
hand.
you?
One hand.
Oh, one hand.
Yeah, because then it makes you balance on the other side, and then you swap it out to the other side.
Oh, okay.
Stabilization.
Yeah,
I've heard from a lot of
stabilizing
people
spine.
that it's actually better.
Actually, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because you're not just load bearing the spine, which is what I'm squatting.
But farmer's carries are amazing too. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I do a lot of farmer's carries. I put on this 20-pound rucksack, go out by myself, put a sidearm, in my vest, and go out, which is kind of funny. I took a picture of myself in the news the other day, posted on social media, and sidearm people bananas. Because I took one.
Yeah, you don't want to get eaten by a mountain lion. It does happen.
Yeah.
It probably won't happen. But guess what? If I have a gun, it's not gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen if I have a gun.
There's a fucking great video of a bow hunter who was being attacked by a mountain lion. And the mountain lion is like creeping up on him slowly. He's like, hey, get back. And you see the thing lock on him and start closing in. It's like 15 feet away, and then bang! And then you see the thing twitching. It's got a hole in its face.
He was a bow hunter.
Yeah,
he
had a pistol.
sidearm.
That's why he had a pistol.
Yeah, that happens in Colorado. I mean, bear attacks.
It fucking happens. Bear attacks are fairly rare in Colorado.
It's only when you cross apparently it's on the cubs and the mother.
The real issue is not in Colorado, though. The real issue is the bears in Wyoming and Montana. Brown bears. Brown bears are what you have to worry about. Black bears, not as much. But occasionally, like a big black bear will go after people.
Yeah, but anyway, I take the sidearm and I'll march around in there. But when I'm done, I feel like I took a limitless pill. It's just something, I totally agree with you, something out there. And I get this little squirrel. It's so funny, man. I leave my house and start climbing up in the woods. I have this little 4-mile kind of trek. And there's a squirrel, I don't know if he'll be there this year, but every year that I go out there, he barks at me, right? And he kind of growls. It doesn't sound like a squirrel. It sounds like a little bark. And then he takes off and he grabs the boat and throws it down. And it's so funny. And he'll follow me from limb to limb. I kid you not. And I look forward to seeing him every day. Like, I feel like he's pissed off. Maybe it's a sign of love. I don't know.
He's definitely pissed off. He doesn't love you.
Yeah.
Somebody probably hunted one of his bears.
Take the sidearm.
People do hunt squirrels. They eat them.
But in any case, man, I feel amazing. So, but you're right. At some point, we have the capacity to replace these oils. We actually have a way to get back away from industrial farming and get back to local farming. I have a very good friend named Alfred. He owns one of the more profitable grocery stores in America. It's in Naples, Florida, called Seed to Table. And he took me out by helicopter one time, and we hopped around to a bunch of his organic fields. He's got thousands of acres in the middle of the state of Florida. And he showed me how he's not only able to grow produce for less money than he would, organically, for less money than he would grow it if he had to use herbicides and pesticides and chemicals. He's able to pick it at 9 o'clock in the morning and have it on the grocery store shelf by 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I watched the whole process go down. Thousands and thousands of these acres. And the white flies are the pest flies they're trying to avoid. And instead of spraying for these white flies, what they do is they just use this reflective cellophane. They run it down the row of crops, and it creates this reflection. And it scatters them to the waste. And so now the white flies are not eating the crops. There's no herbicides. There's no pesticides sprayed on these. There's no preservatives. His victims pick this stuff by 9 o'clock in the morning. It goes into a processing center, and by processing, I mean it gets washed. That's it. things are not green and good for the environment, they're economically feasible. They actually make economic sense. And the fact that we've been spraying some of these fields for so many decades with, or so many years with these herbicides and insecticides, that there is not a pest, in some cases hundreds of miles, but we are still spraying for those. So you start to question motivations.
Yeah, probably financial. And yeah, it's we're talking about. You said something earlier interesting that you think it's not. What was the term that you used? It's not a mental health problem. It's a lack of mental strength, mental fitness. Yeah.
I mean, if you think of it,
Look it up. I love these.
I love these too. Yeah.
Explain to me what these are.
So, hydrogen gas. I mean, this is probably my favorite biohack in the world because it'll cost you about $1 a day. These are called H2 tabs. You can get them at drinkhh2tab.com. You can actually read the science on it. I think there's two people in the world now. I mean, those that have read the science and take hydrogen gas, and those that don't, or just haven't read this, because hydrogen gas, first of all, it's the lightest element in the universe. It's also the most prevalent element in the universe. 10% of your body weight is hydrogen. Think, in fact, if you took hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, and nitrogen, that's 96% of your mass. Okay, those four elements. So hydrogen is about 10% of your body weight. And hydrogen is not just an antioxidant, it's a selective antioxidant. Right? So if you look at oxidative stressors like nitric oxide or superoxide or hydrogen peroxide, okay, so all of these oxidative stressors, they can be good in certain amounts. You need a certain amount of nitric oxide, right, in your body, but too much nitric oxide is bad. Too much hydrogen peroxide is bad. Too much superoxide is bad. So if you were to take an antioxidant like vitamin C, and take very, very high doses of antioxidants, this can be very bad for you because you're suppressing too much oxidation in the body. You're actually suppressing these oxidative stressors too much. Hydrogen, on the other hand, it uses the body's homeostatic process to suppress inflammation. So in other words, it works through something called the NRF2 pathway. It affects a protein called NRF2, which moves into the DNA, binds to the DNA, and then the DNA spits out the instructions for catalase, superoxide dismutase, and glutathione. So in other words, you're actually using the body's regulatory system to actually control inflammation instead of externally trying to control inflammation. And then the second thing it does is it targets the only oxidative free radical that I think all of the science points to as which is hydroxyl radical, having no use in the body. So it selectively targets that and regulates the rest of the inflammatory process by using the body's homeostasis. So, I guess a very long-winded way of saying this, hydrogen gas can go anywhere in the body. It reduces inflammation, improves circulation, improves memory. It was a really interesting study published on the Journal of Experimental Gerontology. It was published in November of 2021. In most, these clinical research studies, they'll look at younger populations, like healthier younger populations. But this actually looked at a 6-month study on hydrogen water versus non-hydrogen water in 70-year-old and older folks. And they used something called TET2 to measure methylation. They measured cognitive function, sleep scores, sit-stand ratios, how well they're able to sit and stand, telomere and chromosomes. And really fascinating thing about this, they were done during COVID. So these seniors were basically imprisoned. So they were not mobile. And the only difference between the groups that they controlled for was the presence of hydrogen water. At the end of the 6-month period during the lockdown, the control 11% of their telomeres, the non-controlled were gained. They had better short-term recall, better cognitive scores, better circulation, improvement in cardiac function, reactive. I think it's the greatest biohack on earth. That and like some seasonal amino acids, like perfect, just covering your bases. I think those are the foundation based for
And it's delicious. It comes in flavors. It's easy to drink. It's like a pain-free thing that you can do.
You can bathe in it too. You
Really?
bathe in hot water. You can actually put what's called hyaluronic, which looks like a big bath bomb. It's elemental magnesium.
What does it do for you when you're bathing in it?
It goes right transdermal, it goes right to the skin. So skip out of my unit like they won the lottery. It's incredible. I mean,
So, reduction of inflammation in joints from these hydrogen bombs. How long does it last?
or from a hydrogen bath. You can get these machines. I mean, one for your house is about $7,500 to $8,000. Um, they make some that make nanoparticles or nanobubbles, which are about 1/500th the diameter of a human pore. If you rub these things on your face, it'll actually push all the sebum out of your skin. It'll get rid of dandruff, psoriasis, eczema. If you have any kind of inflammatory condition like knee, hip, shoulder, rotator cuff, arthritis, low back, bathing in hydrogen gas can be one of the most therapeutic things you can do.
Really? Can you add it to a cold plunge?
You can add it to a cold plunge. And what's interesting about adding it to a cold plunge, in fact, I use this cold like cold plunge, but I've got these guys trying to incorporate the hydrogen gas into the plunge. So where the water gets into hydrogen generation, as the temperature drops in water, it saturates with gas. So a 48-degree, we'll quote the exact limits, but a 48-degree cold plunge will hold twice as much gas as a 100-degree warm up. So you're going to be plunging for 3 to 6 minutes, switching your idea. You might as well be in there with hot. These guys are both plumbing, and create the hydrogen gas by taking the water, breaking the distilled water apart, and then throwing the gas into the water. And it is noticeably different when you bathe in this gas. Like I had John over for podcast a couple of years. We saw guys up in the Navy SEAL, and he's got this over. It's really weird looking at him. He talked about the poor Sean out there. He was like, dude, I just met you, man. And I go,
Are you live? Dude, are you ready to get your ass kicked? You're jumping at normal time. Zoo.
Every time is a normal time.
Okay. Zoo, did you know that you had an invitation and you haven't?
Yeah. What time is it where you are?
7 p.m. Oh no, 4
Is it 7 p.m.?
No, it's 4 p.m.
Yeah, I was going to say, I got a little Snapchat from California and it's still daylight with the stuff they just sent me.
I know, I just woke up.
That was a terrible shot.
Thanks, big guy.
Not as bad as that shot, though.
Look at this shot.
I need to shot a little time.
Zoo,
That looked like it was going to go in for a second. I like that. What about my shot's worse than yours?
I mean, they're both not bad shots. We just need really good second shots. We can have base fuck you.
Fuck me.
Yeah, I did. Watch this move. Fuck your shit, dude. That's illegal gameplay.
Yeah, you should. Just
Shit, dog.
put it in.
to make your shot, or you douche? Are you proud of shot?
It ended up being not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I'm in agreement there. Dude, that's a really good shot.
Spoon 2. Got weird. Oh my god, I hate this call.
Look who the fuck it is.
Horizon?
Dog.
Oh, rather.
He was looking for you.
I heard.
Fuck you.
Duke in at 4 in the morning and was like pissed at me. But I played him in darts. We've been playing darts. We play all kinds of games. We're playing mid now. I'm very glad that you're here, Riser. What a shot, Zoot. Going. Because I'm about to get my 1000th win, and of anybody who I want it to be over, it's you. So, oh, Zoot, what a great shot. Psych, bitch, that shot sucked.
That was not.
That's why I said. That's why I said psych. See, there's this thing that people do where they compliment you, and then they say psych, because it's hilarious.
God, that was close.
Hole 4. All right, Zoot, last hole. We're not gonna tie. You suck dick on this hole. And look how amazing my shot is. Oh, don't go in the water. Don't go in the water. Don't go in the water. Oh, it's in the water. Zoot, now's your chance. Zoot, now's your chance. Zoot with an amazing shot. Oh, Zoot. Don't fuck up, big dog. Whatever you do, don't fuck up. Zoot, whatever you do, don't fuck up. Zoot, just don't fuck. Fuck. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I need an amazing shot here. One of the greatest in history of kind. Oh, I almost fucked you. Zoot, I almost fucked this shot. Zoot. Don't hit the tree. Don't hit the tree. Fuck you. Alright, I'm at 994 wins. If we can keep the princess himself, Riser, here for 6 more games. Lee Gandhi. You know that Lee Gandhi was for you? You sound...
Go. It's a terrible shot.
That was an excellent shot. Looking for you?
Dude.
Fuck you, man. Fuck you. I didn't get a response. I didn't get a response. This
you
one,
just gave Rabbi the game.
This one's for Lee Gandhi.
Oh, yeah, I should have just...
And you regret it. Because I'm the biggest winner. This is not that easy. Where did it down?
Why are you doing that? Okay,
Oh, what a brilliant shot.
What's the IQ?
That was...
Nothing in there. You won't do it. You don't have the balls.
Oh, thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome, Zoot.
You better get through that fucking...
Yes, I knew Zoot was gonna fuck that up.
Course. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a difficult shot.
Oh yeah, because there was so much shit in the way. Psych?
Because the corner.
Guys, are you ready for this?
I should have.
Yeah, you should have. This one's from my newfie, sluts. Just girls who are sitting on the fucking island ready to suck dick. Is Newfoundland an island or a peninsula?
Dude, aim fucking lower, dog.
Is Newfoundland an island or a peninsula? All I do is win, win, win. Oh, you're both. You're both.
Prince Edward Island is an island.
I was gonna say that. I know that. Nova Scotia is an island, isn't it? I think Newfoundland is a peninsula. Boys, do you want to recap on what the score is?
Rabbi, you're very annoying.
I'll be nice.
But you're being really annoying.
I'm worse to Zoot. Hey, Riser, I beat Zoot 20 straight games, and I would interview him after each loss. It was.
And you do that every game?
I don't always interview him with like a microphone and like take time out and go through why he played so shittily. Dog.
For the post-game analysis.
Exactly. Look at this
Yeah.
shot, son. Come on. This game is rigged. Oh, look at Zoo. I don't know if this is smart Zoo. It's risky. It's literally like the same around thing. Oh, nice. Oh, you fucked Riser. Good job.
I think still get it. You like this shot.
Riser, that shit.
How do you like that?
Dude, just don't make it. That's all. Nope, short.
Oh, one more.
Zoo. Well, I have to be nice to Zoo because he says I'm annoying.
I'm gonna hold him. Shots in the east.
Oh, it's not the east player in the left part of the hole.
It'd be easy if Rabbi wasn't in the way. It's very difficult now.
Yeah, it is. Right on the base. Oh, dude.
Water
No way that was going to be.
Raza made black to me. Oh. How do you guys know play the easiest of them?
Dude.
Skill. I'm still on the play.
Dude, do you like Billie Eilish?
I hate Billie Eilish.
What the fuck did she ever do to you?
Tormented fucking ears with their shitty song.
Dude, you know what?
I got put in an MRI scan. I got put in an MRI scan like Billie Eilish. I got an MRI scan. And I have trauma because that's the MRI scans at the turn. And then I don't like Billie Eilish's reviews. I think like if you're a famous person, you should say like politics.
You like that song where she goes, duh.
Oh, that's wrong. Yeah, I don't agree. I just don't agree with her political views, and it would be if she was going for it, even like as someone with huge influence, you should talk about political views.
Bonnie Blue talks about her political views and how many dicks she sucked, and you like her. Dude, she is very sex. I can tell you that. She doesn't. That's a bullshit shot.
Not that I'm aware of. I'm not like a Bonnie Blue fan. So.
Dog, subscriber only fan. You were zero. You know her. She's just thinking about OnlyFans. She gets a notification. Measure.
It got like 2,000 something.
I thought she didn't respond.
I set up my network as big as body count in the show.
Good shot.
Wow, that was fucking...
Newfie, son.
There's no way that should have ever gone in.
That was one of the best I've ever had.
Were you even trying to make that, or just not do
Better. Sometimes people. He's gonna hit the corner. We're gonna let him. He's gonna hit the corner. Hit the corner. We're gonna laugh at him. Did he hit the ball? Oh no, he didn't. But we still laugh. So he's trying to do saying that your network will not be fine. So she's really proud to be a huge whore, and you not be.
Yeah.
Dude, that's gonna make such baby interesting pillow talk when you guys are like after you fuck and you're like, hey, you remember that Instagram post I said your body count would be net worth?
Get it.
Dude, hit that ball to hit his ball in the black dune. Oh, this is it. This is Zoot. Are you fucking serious?
Oh.
I'm gonna hit your ball in, son. I'm gonna hit your ball in, son.
No.
Dude, that's That's garbage. If Zoot makes this, Roger and I tied, which would just be really sad for the world. Dude, this fucking ball's in my way.
Make it, please.
Zoot's it right now. It's out right now. Zoot. That's looking good.
Oh, yes. What?
Did I knock your ball in?
Dude, Zoot, you're such a douche.
I was watching the screen, but I'm not worried if we went ball in.
No, Riser had already been in the hole. It just meant that Riser and I tied. And I should have beaten him straight up because I dominated. It doesn't mean I didn't win. I didn't win by as much as I wanted to win.
I win the next hole.
Just the next one. That's not that impressive.
No, then.
Oh, mistake. Apologies, Riser. Dude, this game.
Why does it say that I can walk?
I don't know. That was. You think that
Because I didn't really respect that.
you would think that this game, put that garbage. You can shut that by like pressing the little chat button. I do it like once a day with it because he just has all asterisk. Asterisk. That's what he said. Riser.
It's still showing up for me.
Is it shut for the players? Oh, Riser.
Right. 6 out of 10.
Another shot. Bingo, bango, bongo, son. One of the shots that you all ever got the opportunity to witness.
That was a 10.
Yeah, it was. What'd you think of that shot? That was outside the box. That was an outside the box new
Oh, fuck.
shot. Right off Zoot.
Go on the right, dude. Bank it off the right. Oh, yes, dude.
Are you fucking serious? Zoot, what the fuck, man? Zoot, what the fuck? Zoot has led you Riser 2 times, 2 major holes. That's not cool, man. Do you think? No, he's not. Do you think the top opening is bigger than the one on the right, or same size?
You see, I don't get in 2 shots with like that. Well, oh, it's going to be
Riser and shot.
But by the way, I believe it's climbing on the corner.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about. You got your girl. That's great. He came in 2 nights ago. He's like, everybody stop what you're doing. Like, what? He's like, Bonnie Blue was just arrested. And I'm like, are you sure that it's like publicity stuff? He's like, I don't know, but it's important that we all know this. And I was like, okay. And her friend, what's her friend's name? Lizzie Phillips or whatever? That bitch was like, all arrested. I was like, what's the reason? Why did she get arrested for sucking TV? He's like, I don't know. Are you sure that this is... He's like, this is not exact. Yeah, it's pretty close. Oh, what's going on, y'all? Oh, anyway, got money on my mind, and I step on it. Everybody has up. And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay down, up, down. So all I do is win, win. Oh, great shot. Good job, big. Zoot, great shot. If I go sunset, I go in the power. That was terrible. Good shot, Riser. Good shot for Riser here.
Oh, no.
Thank you, Riser. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. I'm not gonna get enough.
Oh, yeah, Zoo. Come in.
That was fun.
I do want to do it.
Everybody hands go. Oh, look at one where you two conspired with me.
Right, I'm everything I can here.
Go, do it. Do everything. Even when you two conspire with me, which is hard for the course between you two, no pun intended, I still win.
Well, I have Raza now. There's no way I can help Raza.
Even Zoo was trying to help us here. All I do is
No,
win,
he's
win,
fucked up.
win.
I know we have to do all
Yes, there is. Aim for the ball.
Oh.
I fuck you. You're gonna have to. Your best option is to give me the dot.
You can just hit it off the wall.
No, he's got to
Great shot.
Are you serial?
Riser, are you on practice?
Not Raza.
Riser, leave out these unseated noise, says so well.
Zoo, like,
Guys, I have to these fucking jokes that I'm like, you're funny to use these. Do you know what? Yeah, yeah, that's really a popular one amongst 14-year-olds, I think. But also on the internet, it's classic. You just write, do you know who Ligma is? Or do you know who Ligma is? You know Ligma, Ligma.
a town in Ontario called Beaton.
Ah.
Joke that your name Dick hurts like Beaton.
Do you know? Yeah, this is a really thing, but it should ban. Zoot. Zoot's too busy looking at chat. Look, dudes in there.
Bam on these.
We'll just ask motherfucker not. Yes, nutty fuck.
Bad ass motherfucking fuck. Isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. That's my fuck. Take one out.
Yes, big fuck fuck.
Dude, Zoot's gonna go in here.
Stop dating the
Yes.
Bonnie.
He's I had a joke that is hero for Bonnie Blue Man.
I heard that.
We're gonna have something we never had, which is
Zero for tutorials.
oh, I did it last night. All right, the only thing you can it is possible. You think of the
Yeah.
Zoot came in.
100% goes from the bottom to the.
Right. I think you're right. No fucking way. Hi, sir. I'm so glad you're gonna give her money for the win. I would rather it be other people in the world.
Not talking about having my shot with.
Zoot, that's beautiful. Bonnie Blue, be proud. I'm away, people.
I don't want to fuck Bonnie Blue. I'm not down that bad.
Yeah, you are. You came in last night. Funnier than a mother.
I'm down bad, but I don't think I'm very funny to look at.
Dude.
If I was gonna fuck a girl who in the S on Australia before the project that's right, you got like invested something into it.
Okay. Zoot, are you gonna guys? Are you gonna join this game, or are you gonna beat yourself raw?
Okay, if I paid, I'm gonna get.
No, sir.
If I paid, let's say Bonnie Blue,
Okay.
free can get back like $100.
Okay, no. You
I
know,
don't play. I don't know if I need it.
no, fuck. How much you do for in? Invitation, exit. So he just left? Right, sir. You remember you asked me about a party? Did I tell you about a party?
No, I was actually telling you what it was.
Yeah, it's nice. But when I went in the startup, you know, I created that the car wash to you. So the car wash. And I had a major struggle with the owner of the business. He's a very, very mean person. This is a guy who was murdered over tickets or whatever. And he's really hard to work. And I won a job where I didn't fight for jobs off and the live place. And so I signed into the job. And I was wondering for beach, and I know happy and I was trained in at this. And I thought it was just looked like it was something I did a whole bunch of people need the money. So I called and when I see that somebody is looking for somebody like manage their person on QuickBooks, you know,
Accounting software.
exactly. And it just is so strange. Like it was very that I watched one video on QuickBooks and it was like, how do you transfer QuickBooks desktop to QuickBooks online? Okay, I got to get pretty quickly. So I called this number. It was 8 o'clock in the morning. It was like pretty early. This woman's up and she's like, I'm like, so I see you have a physical system. It's like, yeah, do you want to transfer QuickBooks desktop to QuickBooks? And I'm like, well, as a matter of fact, I do. And I really had watched the video like within the last 10 minutes. So I will explain it very accurately. So, okay, I'll come by business after work at she wanted me to so I'm like, all right, I've got an interview. I know I'm getting the point with that, but it's just a story. And so there, and she's like, I've got an interview with Suzanne, and she's like, yeah, actually, really, I have classes. I have 4 classes that day, and for telling me that, yeah, either day. Anyway, I'm like, well, I have a class from 7 to 9, but I come down. She's like, wait here, come on. So I here, and it's like, no, but we're in the wind planet, in the planet, and so I'm there, and I have a very intense class, and I remember she's like, I don't know, and you don't have any background. But I've never been like that. And so, obviously, like, had with a shared co-owner, where I say, you know, we got, like a pile of people interview. you don't need that title. I'm the job. And it was kind of that's exactly right. That's exactly right. 100%. I have great stories from like this period right here. I was just like very confident. Still like I worked there for an entire year. At the end of my time, she had an accounting degree from the University of California. She's like she was a accountant, and she would tell me that year was the best time I've ever in my entire life. And that was eyes to me, and I had never taken an account class. She's very organized and just very consistent, and that's what she wanted out of it. And so anyway, but I didn't have any. So this happens. Actually, the really exciting part. So she's like, she's like, why leave the business? And I said because I don't have retail religion that I should be doing. And I'm like, well, I was so where I work, and I'm in a place where this one sort of days, and I'm just it's like a non-special. I told him you work on Saturdays. I'm not working anymore. And she's like, oh, you have to work Saturdays. I'm letter for this person. I also said you can pay me, but they said I don't work, but I also have like some place where like that's it. That's all you. I'm like, yeah, but every other like, I'll be here and I will miss. And she's like, yeah, I'm doing my work. I miss. I'm consistent. I'm like the person there last week. And so she's like, okay, what do you start tomorrow? Something like that. I'm like, okay, so I'm there. I have no idea what to do. Everybody in work, they had like I don't normally have like that small organization that had accountants, but they had an accountant who was just working on care, they had an accountant who was there. And I just take over that job. And so I go there and I'm like, okay, you know, it's a fair work. Unfortunately, I asked why the accountant was like, this was going to jump take me. And I'm like, and then I went and this company had, and I'm like, oh, this company is literally going to close. Like, and this is how it is. Basically, they will do, they'll get extra week, they basically just, like, the way how they like analogy, we imagine a train on the tracks. They literally put the tracks on the train. If the train goes over the ground track line, it's like this constant, like, we were just really trying to keep the light on. And so I'm like, and she's like, unfortunately, she was there to teach me the daily leaders. After like one day, I'll just make that do very much. This woman had that much 50 money over day. And she watched Netflix for 10 hours, and she would milk it and just work and take and also it really so they expect you know I explained that what I'm taking I'm doing so many steps. Just saying I got classes for class. When did I get here? I got tomorrow's class. Friday Shabbos and I can talk about this if you're like yeah, the classes take like and sometimes the classes which I do like procrastinate through and absolutely like that. So I feel a little bit about it. So I don't make there you know account that was training. I think I should leave because you guys don't have money. But she's like draining. Basically, she's like first I'm using cap. She's like food. No, I don't know like this is a trouble. She's like yeah, well watch something on the side. Like overtime to wash food and what's up? And like, yeah, I mean, we know it's like a problem. They just take a lot of person. I'm like, look, I got the procedure down. So they gave you like 2 hours, you got to and it was like, so after talking, we were telling yourself and we were after. I'm like, yeah, I was popular at the system. That's the very popular. We had everyone from Reddit and you need to pretend to the country why all the people tell you it's very popular. And she's like, well, I had another app. That's why that, you know, just sign up to make the decision for time like $20. Now you can add for cheaper now, but you don't have to control it. And she's like, oh, it's a company called I really care. She's basically a party. I think a lot of people here. It's a cool place where you go running and it's very formal and yeah. It's not back. It was like this stuff and they were here. How the party like they were the whole this operation like 20 hours later and I would like 3:30 morning I would be actual by 6:50 in the morning. I used to 7:45 and then he was already always there, really there. And I would leave his class in the evening and come back and still there until like, you know they sleep there. Like they had a they didn't but it was really like and well yeah, good question. Labor very intensive, and the way that this business would go be popular is in Germany, people who in ways are all very expensive. It's very expensive to do business. Well, they would follow people, and so they profit margin also. And also they really just like use their experience in this field, like they're such this, but they have good margins of things. Like all kinds of things happen. So if you've ever seen like it's like a we have basically in like 10 out 15 times like 20 years. What do we do? We make salvation, right? That's a right, and they have a big Elliot, like really flashy, like empty door. You can around all kinds of things. But it's just like you can overhead. The other thing is having the breaks. So you that's in San Diego. And the travel time and the presentation is just 8 and up. So basically, at the end of every week struggle. Now, there's like, I think she did something like that. Something like that. And I'm like, oh, good idea. So a lot of times people then also have people who just have party and they come here and they might do things. Basically, if you put a menu and they can choose like, we would have stereo, some lighting, and you know, we would do all kinds of really interesting things. Like dance floor over pool. That's like the thing we would do. Like dance floor over pool. And people yeah, so there's no policy to do after that. Like, it's done, but you have to like be really careful about it. I don't know if it's dangerous, but just like that's done. Anyway, no food. She used to have a business and have to set a business. It's fine. It's not like it's anymore. But he would support it so, because food are really, people really eat and everything has a break. So this one was not Jewish, but she could run for kids, and I know about that. She was very novel on and she had many clients who were Jewish, and so she learned and she was able to do catering. But that's what we were. We were just doing generally parties and bridals. People would have the cool parties. They do like clothes parties and like Disney parties, and they would do all kinds of events in Disneyland and these really nice countries like that. Okay, what's your happy? And this is just a story. I wasn't making money, but I was able to. It's religious. I got religious, and so I would listen to her plan, which is basically, and this is the idea. I think you convert needs. So basically, have an app. And so you have this right. It's not a it's just you have to people, and you party like on a Saturday night at 8 p.m. set up. It's like 4 hours after. And that's where lights be brought out. You order stage, you can have your machine, you can have a fun machine, you can have light, you can have regular light, couches, just anything you want. So basically, like if you have all that stuff, you go out and have your own, and that's expensive. So you have all that stuff. So what does that mean? It means people just don't sell people to show them to tell, hey, we're gonna have our from 8 to 1, and it's one big map, and they take everything. All I do is take with this idea, I think I'm just do food delivery and such. So they continue that into currently currently they have all the sites. So this idea, and just like so that's what they video and they were some hardest workers that ever meet. And so it was like, we come to do, what they do is step in front of your house and bring everything and leave for your guest, and then you have your party or whatever, and then sit down and that's the idea of the app where you just order everything you want and but it's cheap. There's open to all of it, but at least we're not here a lot of people have to be able to pick, but they don't have the time to be able to set up and get your dance and all that stuff. So that's what I get for free money, and that's just what it is. It's basically an app that you can part. I know that ancient through Instagram where you just like and it didn't have a house. You have just so you have where you are. If you have a tool, you can be on the beach where you basically just choose location, the time, and what you want, and all you come stuff set up. And not sure if you could do this as well, but see what you got.
I guess if the delivery app is taking person time from selling to the business. So this app, I mean, I get that you're taking time from the person, whatever, but then if you want to use tables and carry using it. So,
well, that's what it is. It's really over. So just be an effort. Yeah, we do all the time. So we want all the lights. Exactly. There are just companies like we still had competition where there was competition in LA and how she was like there wasn't like weird accounting questions that you didn't know an answer. No, they built me on my pre-screens and no, I did that. I said that I managed finance for a startup company, and then and I managed of this technology is essentially like the CEO. They only did not want to be CEO because they didn't want any other respect on that. So I handle all the hiring and donations. I handle all of the finance freedom. That means like pay out. We use we as a processor with the house subsidiary. And like I was involved and managed that. So I had that and the only which I got on was that 10 video that was they asked me like, so how to transfer QuickBooks to a file. You upload QuickBooks this file like to your system. You upload that and then it's going to take a little processing. Very hard. So okay, so you're fine. And they like that's all I asked about. It was interesting because I was very first. We had people from first like I remember working there. It's just like first slot you're such different people who get it. One was they are like it was like which is another country. There was another person there was who was an expert in like Asian another person there was another person in South Asian another person was like most people were to be the transfer I the first person I was transfer and I remember it was like years ago so it was not as accepted and this person was like amazing and then like it was just like and then actually worked and so I come in a like one thing for me that I'm more you need a manual for our reports and I have all of the human resources in multiple jobs for them so I'm very experienced with that. Everything from recruiting aspect of the expand to either transition or recruitment or data and AI just like basically anything that you can hire hundreds of like I don't say because it's not that much ton and hired for hired developers working so I have a lot of experience those accounts goals so what ends up happening was I go to I ended up offering and then the next day it's not interesting me to the team as the account interesting me that he had a controller and to be honest with you I don't know controllers if you don't control the controller is the boss of all the accounts so basically I always love it so then he had a controller and I remember I attended that Friday with the against one like also that we have and they were like so you know what happened with using I said more and they're like oh so like what and so I was hired for a position and that was fun they're like do you have any background in accountancy I'm like no but have you seen the executive it's one of my favorites and my life was it's one of my favorites I was very much basically I was having to first a for a year and by the end of it and it was we had to basically through one other and one end yeah it cost so one did plays the team and he and like they were that it was very difficult to oversee them basically for work and they would both as sales and drum business and that's not the same you control them so the so in some of the money I don't know so we got something and passed it into the market program and they did and so we were trying to reduce on over this is the thing we would have huge bills of tens of thousands of things like my head up and another thing had two accounts plus the lady who I was the CEO and I said you don't even just need what's in your books so the one woman who was working she left the other person was she was physically and so we were there and they were cheaper than she did all they did was work and I didn't start and I did they were more and literally one pencil I just did nothing this I didn't pick up the one started to go to this so what ended up happening over a year and I literally need this writer it was one of the my time it was high stress but yet it was they just gave and everyone people were so they wanted to be able to practice Judy's made them he did not feel like pressure for Saturday because of the day and I said that's not motion so it ended up happening and they gave me like he was talking about it and that was it so he was on just he was like 15 weeks and he was just was really intense. So what ended up happening is
But he was doing okay while you were working.
no, he was doing okay. Just they go together, like each house outside. He would like just do that, but he was.
So he, so sorry,
Oh yeah, like I just did it, but he wanted to take drugs because I was confused. Oh, absolutely. That's a little bit you can't help it. If you've done it, it's a lot of fun. So well, I know because it was this idea that he always made me work and social like my social life. Me and I had this whole yeah, exactly. He did some like he would he would come in. He wouldn't come in because that's the day that they auction. But if I'm not just people apart and made everyone everybody was different. He would always get more. And then like just try to get that. And within 6 months, I had this company guys able to publish, and so so kids, and it was just I'm just saying it didn't work capture this. The word how better for the first time. Maybe it was good. Oh, I'm found out you did a competition. You got trolls, which is awesome. And how they were working managing the currency of the person. That's right. Check this is just like okay, so what do you here? Also, there's someone who manage and it's also interesting managing things. And so it was turned out that two people in business, their names were they inherited the business from just had kids and basically I would say an angel investor who had that much money, but he has properties and basically you manage properties and they went from food to company. Well, I go ahead and so what I do is I would coordinate examples of like now their bank statements, go down to make sure that anything person, and then I would go to this mail house, I just property, and then we would basically have the mail from us and I manage books and that for something. So I was like dang, like I was doing a lot of things. And so every single day something more because they get checked and now I explained to them you don't have to make just do what I have like obviously you take pictures and then we so he got what he would just show them no. So I ended up working there really just can't in fact it's still very beautiful you're just very I never was late for this day like one of these situations I just don't I was glad to just find people. But I realized that I would start doing money and I don't have the I didn't have hard work, just didn't have money to go so I started to decisions and I looked at the man I checked that experience like I keep experience it is still I get the word close and he made an interview you know like when it comes to especially if you have these because it's started it's illegal so well in fact I also from the post office very fun and because they would be things so and some post office near where I was supposed to do they were I read the and you know what I don't know if he didn't really able to do it he'll be able to see that candy I find a position there and order work post office and also I space and just the festivals and it's an Italian order and they have that in which is also and so I got this that is and I like basically that's one of my own stuff I went in there and I was able to yes I just like I looked at them it's real like and got sent and they brought me in and we could test now I can tell you that there was with and it was and I had only with them and I'm not sure how this because I just went through and she had 2 parts in the first part like you're going to take that and the second part is an intense technical announcement I'm just going to take the first part and then first you the second part is which is good I went with this but here's the thing so it's a very thing that we're talking really the concept is very straight and so it's worth my so I so I second for no I don't do for every time that's literally my best and I do what I do I was exactly much like and also like I have this pretty so I had to do this and you know it was just people that were so and I actually got the case and whichever replicates just take everybody with and I just got like that's why you get so I come in I've been in this Italian or something as we keep on most of the time they're saying this one had a video which was a jacket you wear in the hospital which is so that's really I think they come with this technology that you're a lot more so when down you basically create air that was it's one thing so that's the time and there's another guy it's way out basically go to you and she said so actually that's what happened I put the first thing I identified on my end and I would say you're so many areas I don't like when people so funny sometimes in your own and keep it and I think I'm on but I gave this out they gave me a form like you build up on my Facebook and you know nobody has a telephone number and so I was no I didn't even type I put previous spots every guy because there's also like I did like okay I mean I had to show that you call me 20 times and so I never I put out 6 of myself there I used it that those are the put on and so after the first video and I did the second video was a technical review so and okay here's this spreadsheet and you bounce Facebook and so after I did 2 or 3 people don't and reason I'm doing was I just her and any one of my members like I have no idea how you did but I know you can show me right this time so yeah it's well so I ended up being like I don't know how I did it but I fucking did really and as I go back to the it actually I mean I have both of them so I'm at the and just now I'm going to get hired at the post office down here I work there and like on my logistics and then I wasn't enough like working at so I'm just thinking I mean so when you get market so when I get this text from I actually here and we're walking up and discuss it and what I just said I really I got my she was out and I got these being really easy so we opportunity to continue my these and how people work recording yeah we have position to like I get in like I have work space like that so I feel like this I just Monday morning I think I just and so I'm just really just listen and so you know he got traffic there's like no regular stuff I do that just like slow supporting was and it's very flat and he's like oh yeah you guys do a lot like this time of care that's yeah that's all I put on all I have and I just want to now here also the task is like very much using that like type bars and it's on black so he came over to me and he's like yeah and I let's software is like talking about this like this is like have a yeah I don't know it's like so came about this like this and basically really takes you to